Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on NTV Sports. My name is Ravi Gamage.
And I'm Minosha Ratnasekara. First, a look at the headlines.
Over 44,000 people affected by extreme weather conditions. Landslide warnings for 6 districts extended till 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Discussions between media heads and the subject minister on the credibility of TV ratings.
ඒ කරන කණ්ඩායම් මුදලට එහෙම නැත්නම් පෞද්ගලික හිතවත්කමට නැමිලා ආයතනයක් ඉස්සරහට අරන් තව ආයතනයක් පස්සට ගැනීම වාගේ වැඩ සිදු වුණොත් ඒක විසින් විශ්වසනීයත්වයට විශාල හානියක් සිදු වෙනවා.
A bus conductor gunned down at the Tengol bus stop.
In our weather alert, the relief effort is underway after earth slips, landslides and floods brought on by the extreme weather conditions ravaged several districts in the country. Newsfirst Shane Silva is at the weather centre with the latest on the disaster situation.
Thank you, Inoshi. Now, as mentioned in our headlines tonight, the disaster management says that over 44,000 people have been affected by adverse weather conditions experienced over the past several days and the resulting landslides, earth slips and flooding. Now, Assistant Director at the DMC, Pradeep Kodipili, said that numerous areas in the Kalutara, Ratnapura, Gaul, Gampaha, Colombo, Mathura, Nuwara and Kegol districts have been affected. 23 people have been killed in various incidents caused by the extreme weather, while one person has been reported missing. Close to 800 homes have been damaged.
The Kalutara district was the worst affected by the heavy rains. A Newsfirst team visited several areas in the Kalutara district today as well. In one area, meals were prepared in a temple for people who had been displaced from surrounding villages.
Now we are travelling by boat today to provide relief to the people who have been displaced by this inclement weather condition. Now this is the road which leads to Panigala. Few days back, this road was being used by commuters, both by their own vehicles, and they used to walk on this road. But today, we have to travel by boat because of this inclement weather condition.
Food was distributed to people from villages including Panigala, Atamagoda and Mugurugoda Pelana. This footage shows the submerged paddy fields in Bellana, Agalavatta. A clean-up operation got underway here today. The main road from Mathugama to Kalawana was inundated in the Udunuvara area when the Muguruganga broke its banks. While several roads near the Kaluganga were inundated today as well, vehicular movement on the Kalutara Horana road was disrupted as a result. Low-lying areas in Ingiriya were inundated today as well as a result of the Kaluganga breaking its banks. As a result of the Ingiriya Bulat Singhala road being submerged, people were made to turn to boats for transport. The Horana Mathugama road was inundated in the Ballapitiya area. Newsfirst also visited the scene of a landslide which occurred yesterday in Varallahena Kanda Horana. Our reporter says about 15 homes were damaged in this landslide.
We have nowhere else to go. I hope that some action is being taken.
Our daughter goes to school and we bear the cost completely. We have a son who cannot speak. The father who cannot see also lives with us now. And we have the difficulty of living here.
A cleanup operation was underway on the Horona-Matugama road today, which was blocked by an earth slip which occurred yesterday. The Dekatana-Colombo road was inundated at the Lakshapana junction in Malwana as a result of the Kalani river breaking its banks. Our camera also captured footage of a leak in a dike near the Portuguese fort in Narankotua, Malwana.
This bund is broken away and water has been flowing for the past 2 days. Everyone comes and takes a look, but no action is taken. If it comes off completely, around 500 houses will be underwater and around 3,000 acres will be destroyed.
While about 35 homes were inundated in the Vadikanda area in Vattala, our reporter says about 300 people were affected by the adverse weather.
The stream is at the edge of 16 houses. Even the crocodiles have come ashore. The water level is up to waist height.
I'm at the Mabol area in Wattala, Gampaha. After 2 days of continuous rain, 52 houses have been flooded in this area. The people are severely inconvenienced.
23 families displaced by the flooding are being sheltered at the Sri Siddhartha Vidyalaya in Valikadamulla in Vattala. Five main roads in the Mathura district were inundated as a result of the Nilwala river breaking its banks. The Akurasa Mathura, Akurasa Kamburupitiya, Akurasa Siambalagoda, Akurasa Kadua and Akurasa Bangama roads were inundated, hampering the movement of vehicular traffic. While several homes in and around Ratnapura town were inundated, our cameras captured footage of receding floodwaters in some areas. An earth embankment collapsed over a house in the Mount Venat estate in Kotagala today. Our reporter says that the inhabitants were unharmed. Meanwhile, a bus plying from Hatton to Norwood veered off the road during heavy rains. In spite of a major rock slide which fell onto a home in the Ihalagama Grama Niladara division in Algama, Vadakapola, the inhabitants of the house were unharmed.
It has been around 20 years since we built our house on this land. We did not think this would happen.
Heavy rains fell on the Balangoda area today as well, inundating several villages. Two sisters aged 17 and 24 were killed early last morning when an earth embankment collapsed on their home in the Vatukara-Kanda area in Valegoda. Our reporter said yesterday that the inclement weather conditions made it difficult to transport their bodies to the hospital mortuary as a result of rock slides on the main road. A doctor who was a neighbor of an elderly couple who were killed when the wall of his estate collapsed on their home was arrested this morning and placed in remand custody until tomorrow. He was produced before the Kaduvela magistrate by the Thalangama police today. The husband and wife, aged 72 and 62 respectively, were killed when a rock parapet wall constructed by the doctor collapsed on their house during an earth slip.
The landslide warning issued for the districts of Kalutara, Kegol, Ratnapura, Gaul, Badulla and Nuwara has been extended until 10:30 tomorrow morning.
National Building Research Organization today extended the landslide early warning to 6 districts. It will extend up to another 24 hours. It will finish at 10:30 tomorrow. Experiment teams were found that most of these landslided areas as well as the landslide vulnerable areas are very vulnerable. Therefore, we want to restrict the people to enter these areas. That's why we had to extend this landslide early warning to the same districts. After tomorrow 10:30, I think we will consider whether we have to extend this landslide early warning further or not, with considering the prevailing ground conditions as well as the rainfall.
Earlier tonight on the Primetime News at 7 p.m. on our sister channel Sirsa TV, the irrigation director of the Colombo zone, GK Padmasiri, spoke on the flood situation.
The water levels in the Ratnapura district has significantly subsided. However, low-lying areas in the Kaltara district are still at risk of floods. The irrigation officials are currently engaged in widening the estuary in Kaluganga to mitigate the effects. What is the situation in Gampaha? There is a risk of floods in the Gampaha district. If the inclement weather persists in the coming few days, the situation would aggravate.
Newsfirst made inquiries from several experts, including the Met Department, on the science behind the prevailing weather patterns.
The southwestern monsoon will set in the day after tomorrow. As a result, we can continue to expect rain in the southwestern regions, the northwestern region, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces, and in the Galle and Mathura districts. If the monsoon system weakens, we could expect thunder showers in the Uva and eastern provinces. At present, there is a possibility of such a situation rising in several areas. If fishing communities are setting out to sea off the southwest coast at present, we must advise them to be vigilant owing to the changing weather patterns.
Weather patterns in the tropical zone change rapidly. You cannot say with confidence what could happen within 15 minutes. The temperature rises in the zone and disturbances are caused. Cyclones could be created and there are wind waves, all of which could lead to sudden changes in the weather. So it is difficult to predict what will happen. You could say that there will be rains when clouds form, but as to the nature of the rain, it is difficult to predict. And that's all we have for you for the moment from the Weather Center. Of course, to keep abreast.
Welcome back to the news. Now, taking a look at one of our headline stories tonight, Minister of Mass Media and Information Kehelia Rambukwala convened a media briefing at the Media Ministry today to discuss the credibility issues related to TV ratings issued by rating agencies. The meeting was attended by Secretary to the Ministry of Mass Media and Information, Dr. Charita Herath, and heads of media institutions.
This meeting was called by the Ministry of Mass Media and Communication following serious allegations against the credibility of TV ratings issued over the recent past. At the meeting, Minister Rambukwala highlighted the need for a credible, trustworthy system as opposed to one that does not reflect the real viewing habits of the public. The heads of TV networks meanwhile made several submissions to the minister, including a full and fair inquiry into the present ratings mechanism followed by rating agencies. Another recommendation made at this morning's meeting was the immediate suspension of TV ratings until this issue is resolved and a credible system of rating TV programs and channels is set up. Responding to this, Minister Rambukwala noted that as a first step, an expert committee would be formed immediately to independently look into this issue.
Is that we will appoint a committee of some intellectuals who are in the field, who are capable of giving us a proper picture of as to the validity and the credibility of the system itself. Although it has been used all over the world, when it is localized, how it works here.
Speaking to the media at the conclusion of the meeting, Secretary to the Ministry, Dr. Charita Herath, noted that if rating agencies were found to be corrupt or released ratings based on favoritism, it would cause immeasurable damage to the credibility of the industry.
Serious issues have arisen in the recent past. Some media institutions raise questions continuously over how programs telecast on their channels falling in the ratings from top positions was unjustified. The annual turnover in the TV industry is a large amount of money. According to data we have at present, this industry has an annual turnover of about 46 billion rupees. Institutions receive their portion of this money based on these ratings. Thereby, credibility, transparency and technical accuracy are very important when making final decisions. We do not wish to compile ratings by establishing a separate public enterprise. We expect that this process will be undertaken by the private sector. If the groups that are compiling these ratings bow to money or personal loyalties and place one institution ahead of another or engage in similar actions, this will cause great harm to credibility.
The Secretary also remarked on the decisions taken during the meeting.
We have all agreed to secure a report from an intellectual institution like universities on the current system employed in compiling ratings. Secondly, we have all agreed, the state and private media institutions, to hold open discussions with the ratings agencies. Thirdly, we decided to study how this process is conducted in other countries. Fourth, we felt that it would be good if there is some competition in the compilation of ratings.
Now, UNP MP Sajith Premadasa took the chair during the debate in Parliament today. Parliament convened today with Deputy Speaker Chandima Virakodi chairing the session. As per procedure in the event that the Speaker, Deputy Speaker or Committee Chairman are not present in a chamber, a regular MP can chair the session. This is the first instance in which MP Sajith Premadasa has chaired a sitting in Parliament. MP Sajith Premadasa also requested Parliament today to increase the monthly salary of public representatives in local government institutions.
There are 4,888 public representatives belonging to 335 local government institutions. At a time when representatives close to the people are receiving a very small salary and minimum resources, will your government take steps to provide these representatives with more resources to carry out their work?
We hope to introduce the divisional system soon, and through this system, these representatives will have to work in a limited area. Then this issue will not arise. However, we have turned our attention to increasing the allowance given to these representatives.
It was revealed in Parliament today that the investigation into the creation of a false market in 2011 and 2012 has been concluded. The information came to light during questioning by MP Ravi Karunanayaka.
All investigations launched in 2011 into allegations of creating a false market have concluded. 8 cases were taken into consideration under one investigation in 2012. Written warnings were issued to 4 stockbrokers following the investigations. These warnings were publicized as well.
ආයෝජන උපදේශකයින් සිව් දෙනෙකුට ලිඛිත අවවාද නිකුත් කරන ලද අතර එම අවවාද ප්‍රසිද්ධියට පත් කරන ලදී. නමුත් ඔබතුමා හිතපු
As a former Minister of Finance, don't you accept that it is because incidents such as this that we are unable to bring the stock exchange forward?
මෙවැනි කරුණු නිසා කියන එක පිළිගන්නේ නොවේද? ලෝකයේම තියෙන මේ කොටස් වෙළඳ පොළවල් වල
There are allegations being leveled that discrepancies take place in stock markets all over the world. Investigations are carried out by the legal body in charge of them. Various decisions are taken based on the seriousness of the issue. This is how these decisions were also made. I don't agree with you that there is any doubt about our stock exchange. Look at its growth.
As the country progresses on a trajectory of 7 to 8% growth, this stock exchange also will begin to reflect that. So we have no problems. Whatever you say will be investigated. If there are allegations of malfeasance, they will be studied, and no attempt will be made by our stock exchange in any way to condone any type of malfeasance done in the stock exchange.
Also speaking in Parliament today, Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe questioned Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Peiris on whether the Sri Lankan government had given any assurances to India on the issue of national reconciliation.
Minister informed the House of the government's response to this issue raised by Indian side in regard to national reconciliation? What appropriate action will be taken in this regard? What were the assurances given to the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and the then Leader of the Opposition in Lok Sabha and the present External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj in regard to a political solution for national reconciliation by the President and the Government of Sri Lanka?
We made it clear to the Indian side at this discussion which took place at Hyderabad House in New Delhi on the 27th of May that the government of Sri Lanka has a very definite view with regard to one aspect of this matter, namely the devolution of police powers. We made it crystal clear that the devolution of police powers is not acceptable. We also said that this has nothing to do with ethnic considerations. We believe that the attribution of police powers to any provincial council, wheresoever it may be situated in Sri Lanka, is undesirable for basic reasons of policy. Subject to that, Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is a position of the government of Sri Lanka that this is a matter that must be dealt with above the level of partisan politics, because it impinges crucially upon the destiny of this country. We are therefore very eager to ensure within the Parliamentary Select Committee the fullest possible consultation with all shades of political opinion in this country. It is from such a series of deliberations that we can arrive at a solution which will stand the test of time.
I suppose I can take it for granted that there have been no assurances that have been given to Dr. Manmohan Singh, and you have to put him out of a job then for nothing.
It is not we who change governments in India, Honourable Leader of the Opposition. That is the sovereign right of the people of India. There have been continuous discussions between the two governments on this matter. There has been a great deal of discussion. The latest discussion took place on the occasion you refer to, and what I have informed this House is the substance of the discussion and what we conceive to be the way forward with regard to this matter.
In neighbouring India, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu Jayalalitha Jayaraam has requested Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to present a resolution to the United Nations regarding alleged human rights violations in Sri Lanka. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu made this request of the Prime Minister during a meeting held in New Delhi yesterday.
The Hindu newspaper reports that the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu had also requested the support of the Indian Premier to hold a referendum among Sri Lankan Tamils and the diaspora on establishing a separate Tamil state. Presenting a 65-page report to Narendra Modi, Jayalalitha also said that India should repossess the Kachativu Islet and further said that steps should be taken to secure the rights of Indian fishermen in the Pork Strait. Jayalalitha had also drawn the Indian Premier's attention to the water problem in Kaveri, Tamil Nadu, as well as the issues that are being faced in the education and transport sectors.
What impact will the meeting between Jayalalitha Jayaraam and Narendra Modi have on Sri Lanka? Come join the conversation and express your views on our Facebook page, facebook.com/newsfirst.english. Meanwhile, this issue was also brought up at a media briefing convened by the Unity Through Power Devolution movement in Colombo today.
It has been proven that the influence of the new Indian Prime Minister Modi will be exerted on the Sri Lankan government. India's foreign policy does not change owing to a change in government. Prime Minister Modi has taught a lesson to Sri Lanka that he will not change hastily. We wish to tell our government that prior to learning lessons domestically by appointing a Lessons Learnt and Reconciliation Commission and obtaining reports, they should learn a lesson from India.
India පාඩම් ලබා ගන්න කියලා මම අපි මේ රටේ ආණ්ඩුවට කියනවා. ඉන්න නාට්ල පොලිස්
There is a justice minister in a place where there is no law. The police too have fallen to this level today. What happened to him in parliament yesterday is something that the Muslim people have never had to face. He contested from the United National Party and then crossed over to the government. He said he would be able to serve the Muslim people better. In the end, all that happened was that mosques were broken. The Muslim people were deprived of their entitlements. The God-given disrespect you have earned has gone to the extent of the Deputy Speaker saying in parliament yesterday that you are not a party leader.
Deputy Speaker சொல்றாரு, "ஏய் நீ கட்சி தலைவர் ஒன்று இல்ல."
Still in local news, speaking at an event held today, Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca commented on his party's vote base.
You cannot underestimate a vote base of about 1 million. Whether it is a general election or a presidential election, no one can forge ahead by disregarding our strength. I believe even the Janata Vimukti Peramuna has a vote base of about 6 million strong. With the exception of the two main parties, there are about 1.5 million votes floating amongst us. Politicians who are dreaming of changing the constitution and remaining in power for life are feeling a cold chill now. They are feverish. They will not be able to create their dreamland and continue to harness power by forgetting the people who are rallying around us.
Letters of appointment were presented at an event held at the Democratic Party headquarters today to 18 electoral organizers and co-organizers in the Uva province and 4 provincial council candidates.
What does this send as a message to the world and even to...
In other news from home, Sri Lanka will be hosting the global event to celebrate World Blood Donors Day on the 14th of June. A media briefing on the preparation made to celebrate World Blood Donors Day was held in Colombo today.
The Ministry of Health, National Blood Transfusion Service and World Health Organization have organized a series of programs over the coming week to celebrate World Blood Donors Day. The National Blood Transfusion Board will be collecting 50,000 signatures from blood donors around Sri Lanka on large-scale NBTS flags to commemorate the global event. Successful completion of this event will be considered a new Guinness World Record.
අපිට ඉතාමත්ම සතුටු වෙන්න පුළුවන් ආඩම්බර වෙන්න පුළුවන් අනිත් රටවල් වාගේ නෙමෙයි අපේ රටේ.
We can be extremely happy and proud about this. We donate blood to save the lives of our own countrymen. In order to show gratitude to these donors, in order to show gratitude towards these people, 4 trucks will depart tomorrow to collect signatures for the flag. This is a very important program for the country and the Ministry of Health. The international celebration of World Blood Donors Day is being held in Sri Lanka.
Only Thailand is the other country in Southeast Asia which has had the privilege of hosting the World Blood Donor Day. So for us, I think this is a proud moment. WHO agreed to have the next World Blood Donor function, which is a global function in Sri Lanka, to show the world that you don't need millions of dollars to have comprehensive and good blood donation services. You just need the will and you need the health system.
The first signature on the flag of the NBTS was placed by President Mahinda Rajapaksa last evening at Temple Trees. Several dignitaries were also present at the occasion. The flag will be travelling to all corners of the country collecting signatures of blood donors.
You're watching News First. Up next is Crime Watch.
A private bus conductor was gunned down at the Tangol bus stop this morning. According to the police, 2 individuals who had arrived in a bike had carried out the shooting. The shooter had been wearing a cap so as to obscure his face.
He was loading people onto the bus. I moved away for a bit. Then suddenly I heard a loud noise. When I came here to inspect, I saw him on the ground.
The deceased has been identified as 35-year-old S. Prabhat Chandana, a father of 3 and a resident of Henekadu, Tangol. The victim died due to a gunshot injury to the head. No suspects have been identified as yet. According to the police, investigations have been launched to ascertain whether the shooting carried out on Amila Rajapaksa, alias Ami Amila, on the 22nd of last month opposite the Tangol court complex is in any way connected to today's shooting. It is reported that the victim had aided Ami Amila while he was recovering in hospital.
It is true that he went to see a patient. Will they do something like this just because he took care of a patient?
The second stage of construction work on the Bai Road, which is to be renamed Sirasamawata, following a unanimous decision by the Dambula Pradesh Sabha, commenced today.
second stage of reconstruction activities of this by-road located down TB Tenakon Mawatha began under the auspices of Chairman of the Dambulla Pradesha Sabha, KG Somapala. A large gathering was present at the occasion, including members of the Dambulla Pradesha Sabha.
We hope to lay stones on this road and complete reconstruction in a short period of time. We are glad that we were able to reconstruct this road, which is used by many commuters. This can be used as an alternative route to get to the Thalakote, Pidurangala, Udayagama and Digampawena areas. On behalf of the area residents, we thank Sirasa for renovating this road. This becomes a complete mud hole when it rains. We had to remove our shoes when going to school. On behalf of the area residents, we express our gratitude.
The Sirasa Mawatha will be vested in the public in line with the event to mark the 16th anniversary of Sirasa, which will be held on the 10th of June in Sigiriya.
Russia and China have agreed to set up a joint rating agency at Moscow's standoff with the West over Ukraine has made it more eager to establish institutions that would reduce its dependence on the US and Europe. Russia's finance minister made the announcement in Beijing.
According to Russia's finance ministry, Minister Anton Silivanov said in Beijing that the agency would assess Russian-Chinese investment projects in the beginning with a view to attracting investors from Asian countries. He added, quote, "Gradually based on the progress and authority of such an agency, we believe it will rise to a level where its opinions will attract other countries," unquote. The Russian finance ministry did not give details on the time frame and detailed conditions for the establishment of the agency, but people familiar with the plan said it was likely to involve Chinese rating agency Dagong and a state-backed institution from Russia. The BRICS group of large developing countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, has long discussed plans to set up its own rating agency along with the BRICS Bank. Member countries complained that globally dominant agencies such as S&P, Moody's and Fitch focus on developed countries and fail to assess developing economies fairly.
Moving on to sports news, Sri Lanka advanced to the number 2 slot in the ICC ODI rankings following their 3-2 series victory against England. This is incidentally Sri Lanka's first ODI series win on English soil after 2006.
Winning the toss and batting first at the Edgbaston ground in Birmingham, England posted 219 runs before being bowled out. Skipper Alistair Cook top scored for the hosts with 56 runs. A controversial situation arose during the English innings when Sachitra Senanayake ran out Joss Buttler. Buttler, who wandered out of the crease while Sachitra was on his run-up, was dismissed by Senanayake after he failed to heed an earlier warning by the bowler.
I'm not too sure that the captain is going to allow him to apply.
Lasith Malinga was the chief destroyer, bagging 3 wickets.
So that's the end of the innings. England not...
Chasing 220 runs for a victory, Sri Lanka got off to a steady start with an opening stand of 55 runs. Sri Lanka went on to reach the target in 48.2 overs with 6 wickets to spare. Lahir Thirimana top scored with an unbeaten 60 runs, while Mahalaja Wardana chipped in with 53. Lahir Thirimana was awarded the man of the match, while Lasith Malinga was awarded the man of the series. The 2 test match encounter between the two teams will commence on the 12th of this month at Lord's.
That'll be 4. Tough Sri Lanka.
Now the dismissal of England batsman Joss Buttler by Sachitra Senanayake at the 5th and final ODI played at Edgbaston has come under much scrutiny across the globe. One faction says that the dismissal abides by the rule of the game, while another says that it harms the spirit of the game. You can join the debate by voicing your views through our website as well as our Facebook page.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. It's a pleasure having you with us. I'm Minoshi Ratnasekara.
And I'm Ravi Gamage. Good night.
Hotline 0